There we go. Yeah, what I love about music too is when you tell a story like she just did, and you forget if you're hearing a story or if you're listening to a song. You don't know the difference. You just know what you're feeling, right? Wow, looking out at you, I just want you to know that it's just um, amazing because we have come so far. From last year, we've come so far, and a lot of us probably don't think we have, but trust me, we have. We have. My attitude has come very far since 2 years ago. Oh, Patrick. I want to just, this is what I gathered the other day about the idea of gathering, which if you've ever ran a center, you don't see behind the scenes of how nerve-wracking it can be to gather in our times. And not that I don't treat first and then stress later, but sometimes I actually do the opposite. And sometimes it's very, very difficult. It weighs heavy on my heart because I can't make everyone happy. But we can give choices because we have this beautiful technology that allows people when they're afraid or they don't feel comfortable, they can go to this and be a part of it no matter what. So I am so grateful for that. But since I want to tell you a story about Billy, just a little Billy. Everyone knows the Christmas story. We're kind of hearing it all here with Mary Do You Know and Holy Night. But I grew up as a Catholic, and I went to Catholic school, and we always had the Christmas play every year. And it was packed, right? And it's the same thing. You know the outcome. I mean, but everyone just gathers. And so little Billy, I want to tell you, he really touched my heart because little Billy every year wanted to audition for the part of Joseph because he was the leading man, right? And he never got Joseph. I never did either. It's like every year I just wanted Joe Egan. Oh my God, I remembered his name. Let it go, Patrick, let it go. Joe Egan always got Joseph, and I just thought it would be such a cool thing to be, well, not the exact father, but the stepfather, whatever you want to call Joseph, to this incredible play. But I didn't get it, either did Billy. Billy knew he was going to get it this year, though. And he auditioned. He didn't get it. He got the innkeeper. Now, Billy he was not very holy about not getting it. The innkeeper, I hate to brag, I've come from show business, but the innkeeper has one line. There's no room in the inn. And Billy just said, one day I'll be Joseph. And in the meantime, I don't like any of you that didn't cast me. But because his parents made him and the place is full, he took the role of the innkeeper. So Mary and Joseph, they're traveling through, and it's that opening night. And Mary and Joseph and Mary with child, they're walking up and knock, knock, knock. And here's Billy's moment, man. He opens it up. Can I help you? He added a line. He added a line. Can I help you? He needed a little power in this role. And Joseph said, which could have been his part, Joseph said, is there any room at the inn for my wife who is with child and us? We are in such need. He wanted all those lines. I mean, they're so poetic. And so he did his line. Yeah, there's plenty of room. As a matter of fact, we have empty rooms. Come on in. Oh, my God. Let's give it up for Billy. Oh, my God, isn't it wonderful? What would happen if we changed the story? If we changed the story. And I don't think the outcome would have been much different. She just would have been a lot more comfortable. And there wouldn't be cows blowing heat on her and all of that kind of stuff like in the other. But I don't think it's going to change the story too much. Oh, my mother, if she were here, she would not be happy tonight. She would think I was desecrating the story, but I'm not. I'm having fun with it because Billy said, I have another story. And it made me think to myself, what story are we telling? When we have an opportunity to perhaps change that story. And the outcome's still the same. We're still the divinity. It's just that I realized in Billy's little escapade that maybe we don't have to suffer so hard for the greatness of life. Maybe I don't have to stay all night in a manger, which would be kind of a cool thing. So many people in Hawaii do it all the time. So, but I think it's incredible to think about in this song, Mary, did you know? And I think about all of us. And I came up with some things for us. Do we know who we are? Really know who we are, that we are that same divine power, that same light, if we choose it. But I'm going to give you the 411 on this. It's a big responsibility to own divinity. It's a big one. Because love is what leads the way. And as I had last week, I declared a ceasefire and a truce. And I don't know how all of you did, but I'll be checking in if you... and the whole idea was, can we give up on Christmas Eve, a time of season of love? Can we give up all of the stuff that, isn't as loving as we could have it? And so I was wondering, what if we had been told when we were just a baby that we could walk on water? Now, wouldn't that have been cool in grade school? Right? You can walk on water. What if we came here, like the song says, to make things new? I believe we have. We have come to make things new. Did you know that you can give sight to the blind? And this is filled with metaphors. By your perception and by your love and by your example, those that are blinded by anger, fear, hate, can now be opened up and see something absolutely brand new because you decided to. Did you know that everything that we needed, and this is the best, everything we needed was installed in us before we came to Schoolhouse Earth? And all we have to do is spend time remembering that. Dr. James Mellon, our mentor, our teacher, he has this saying I was running the other day, and I used it, about love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. And it sounds so good, and he's got it written up here in his center, and the stuff sounds so good. But I think it's time, and I think we've been taught it, that it's time for us to not only think of them as great, it sounds great, but how would it be to absolutely put it into practice and see how that comes out? Did you know that you were birthed with the power of the universe? If you did, and if I did believe that, and I do, sometimes, not all the time, life would look completely different. I would be able to love only, forgive everything. I think the one that gets me is the forgive everything. Because I love to forgive when it's kind of convenient. And I can forgive easily except for that and that and this and that, right? What if the same information that was given to Mary about her son was the same information that was given to us, because in reality, it's the truth. And like Rev Rita was saying, that it's not that we don't respect, because that's what I do on Martin Luther King's birthday. And when I think of it, I think it should be honored and respected. But I remember watching some stuff with our Martin Luther King Jr., and his whole thing was, you need to carry on. And I think that it was not given to us that we needed to suffer and to be crucified in the name of love, in the name of life. And it's daring, my friends, but after the last 2 years, I don't know what you would be afraid of. I mean, what would we be afraid of? The very first thing that was said 2 years ago by Rev Rita here is that she said, and I remember I was looking over at Natalie because it was on March 15th. Let it go, Patrick. I even know the date. I remember the biggest fear we had is that we were afraid we'd die. We were afraid that something has come and we weren't safe anymore. And that little inner child that lives within us, that if you know me, you know I love my work with my inner child. But this inner child is even deeper than just the inner child. It's what we've been talking about tonight. It's the inner light. It's that incredible, incredible part of ourselves, that pure energy that's never been touched by anything, that dares to say, I am. I am. That I am. That's our inheritance. And also, speaking of the Master Jesus, he also said, what I have done you can do and greater. He didn't say, I got it down. None of you can do this. But once again, it also takes a lot of responsibility if you're going to say, yeah, I'm going to walk on water. I'm not really interested if anybody knows me walking on water, by the way. It's just because a boat is so much simpler for me to do that. We must find... So a question I have for all of us, what if our purpose is to bring darkness of division into the light of unity? I was thinking of the gifts of the Magi, since we're all biblical tonight. The gifts of the Magi. I've been looking at the gifts of the COVID. Last year, I would never have said that. And this year, I can say it. Why? Because I'm the spiritual director of CSL Kauai, and I will say anything I want to say. I'm kidding. I said, what's the gifts of the Magi? I said, I have found out more about me in these last 2 years than I have ever known the other 49 years. Oh, they turn on you at this time. It's Christmas, people. Oh, Lordy. I have found out that I am capable, and Rita and I have been addressing this lately. Before we move on to the next big center, I want to take just a moment to really bathe and marinate in what we have all done. Before I move on to the next, I got to get over here. Let's build. Let's stop for a minute and take a really good look at our beautiful lives and what we have done. In the face of everything, in the face of division, in the face of all of it, we dared to say no. And I had put that risk of gathering here, which once again can be very tricky. I wrote, the risk of gathering far outweighs the pain that comes with isolation. And I mean that from the depths of my being. We were never meant to be isolated. We were meant to be safe. So this isn't the big political statement of take it however you want. You know what they say when you give a message, you can never know what they're going to perceive it. But I'm going to tell you this. Isolation is not healthy. It makes people sick. And I know that plenty of people that enjoyed isolation before this kind of enjoyed it at first. Doesn't bother me at all. I'm always alone anyway. That's good. And then 3 months pass, 6 months, 1 year. We were meant to be together and gathering. And like I said, I come from the Catholic school, so I'm a good little boy when it comes to rules. But I've also learned that there also comes a time to bend them. My intention and Rita's intention and our center's intention has never, ever, and since this is live stream and I want it to be, ever meant to put anyone in danger. It has only been here to serve and to say, bring the children. We had so many kids born in the last 2 years. We're bringing them in now. And we have to follow some rules. That's why we call our place the CSL Kauai restaurant. And someone said, well, you're really stretching it. You know how when you go into a restaurant, right? Take off your mask, sit down, because, COVID's not there then. And then I lift. And I lift it up. I just know I'm going to get in trouble. I can feel my little boy going, you're in big trouble, Patrick. But what it is the idea that, and someone said, you're really stretching it. Here we go, people, my friends, my family. This is a restaurant. You're being fed spiritual food, for God's sake. Someone said the other day, yeah, you're not essential. And not essential? Don't make my face get redder than it usually does. Not essential. What could be more essential than spirituality and gathering and loving? And Cal, I promised not to get excited this weekend. Last one, I was a firecracker last weekend. I said, no, today it's mellow Christmas. But this is a restaurant, and I want you to go out and tell all your friends. And they'll be dropping a check off at your seat at the end of the In my heart of hearts, I want us all to be safe. Wear your masks. Do the things that makes you feel safe. Stay at home. We have so many people right now that are watching us, and they're comfortable, and they're in their pajamas, and they're doing a whole bunch of stuff. They are so comfortable, and that's what I love about this teaching. It's about choice. You have a choice to be here tonight. And I have to tell you, I'm not going to cry because I always have a little something going on, but I'm going to tell you, looking out tonight reminds me of the old times when we had a lot of people here, even when we weren't supposed to do that. And we have been really good, and we'll continue to be good because it's being filmed. I'm kidding. What I'm just trying to say is the gathering is wonderful, and I'll go back to that, and I'm going to end with a quote. The risk of gathering far outweighs the pain that comes with isolation. And we ask very little when you come in here. And so I really know that you'll respect that, and then we will continue to be safe. And you know how many times I walk around this building treating and putting love around it for safety? I go in here and I say, nothing can enter this building, this space, that isn't divinely protected by love. So, Pima, is that her? Pima Children, yeah. I always know her last name, but I don't want to mess it up too much. We're going to end with this. If we want there to be peace in the world, we have to be brave enough to soften what is rigid in our hearts, to find the soft spot and stay with it. We have to have the kind of courage and take that kind of responsibility. That's the true practice of peace. Many Tibetan monks said, all of us is who they respect. Because they say, we're on the mountaintop, collectively putting out this incredible energy. And you're out there in the trenches where you actually have to practice it. You have to actually take the courage to love when love is not present. So let us birth ourselves tonight. Let us birth ourselves tonight on this Christmas Eve. And when we wake up, little Kyle. Yeah. You've been waiting for that present on Christmas morning, haven't you?
I've been a good boy. Yeah?
I know you have. But I got some news for you. That miracle that you've been waiting for, I can see it right now. You are a blessing to us. Thank you. All of you are a blessing to us. And take these words and know that our future as different as it may be, depends on not me, not Rita, not Kyle, not whatever. It depends on all of us. And we may have different opinions, but I promise you that if we can just take them and combine them as unity, we will have a Christmas we will never forget, and we will have a New Year that we will never forget. Namaste.